This is the Intersecondary School Debate Series Round 2, brought to you with kind compliments of Caribbean Union Bank.
Driven by you, we're better every day. Driven by you, together a brighter way. Caribbean Union Bank, you matter to us. Caribbean Union Bank, our people, our purpose. Every day at Caribbean Union Bank, we are committed to creating the kinds of products and services that you want and need. We are not just a bank. We are your partner on your journey to financial freedom and success. Because we are driven by you. Driven by you, we're better every day. Driven by you, together a brighter way.
Welcome, and good evening. This is the Intersecondary School Debate Series Round 2, brought to you with kind compliments of Caribbean Union Bank. I'm your moderator, Priscilla Marsh Sutton. A special welcome to you, our studio and television audiences. Remember, we're here each week bringing you a new encounter for the Intersecondary School Debate Series. The 2024 series started with a bang, and it will continue as we start round 2. And to kick things off, we have the Seventh-day Adventist Secondary versus the Antigua Grammar School. Today, they will be debating the moods. The child justice system has done more harm than good to lower youth violence rates in Antigua and Barbuda. The child justice system has done more harm than good to lower youth violence rates in Antigua and Barbuda. It is time to meet our eager teams, and we start with the proposition, the Seventh-day Adventist Secondary. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Jordan Roberts, and I am the first speaker for the Seventh-day Adventist Secondary School.
Good evening. My name is Amai Moore, and I'm the second speaker for the Seventh-day Adventist Secondary School.
Good evening. My name is Ajani Edwards, and I'm the first alternate speaker for the Seventh-day Adventist Secondary School.
Good evening. My name is Adrian Brown, and I'm the second alternate speaker.
There you have it, Team Seventh-day Adventist. Come on, make some noise. Yes, this is a lively competition. We now move on to the opposition, Team Antigua Grammar School. Let's hear from them.
Good evening. My name is Tajani Seaman, and I am the first speaker for the Antigua Grammar School.
Good evening. Amari John, second speaker of the Antigua Grammar School.
Good evening. My name is Jaden O'Brien, and I am the first alternate speaker for the Antigua Grammar School.
Good evening. My name is Enkin Stevens, and I'm the second alternate speaker for the Antigua Grammar School.
There you have it, Team Antigua Grammar School. They deserve a round of applause as well. As is customary, a panel of judges will decide on the team that will advance in the second round, or we should say the third round of the competition. Joining us this evening are Katie Ann Camacho, Education Officer within the Ministry of Education. Gavin Emmanuel, Director of the National Archives. And Sharon Herbert, Social Sector Planner. Round of applause for our judges. Our alternate judge this evening, Miss Tarika Francis. Our timekeeper, as usual, is the lovely Miss Aisha Lynch. We will begin with the proposition's first speaker, Jordan Roberts, followed by the Antigua Grammar School's first speaker, Tajani Seaman. We will then move on to the second speakers from each team. First speakers will be given 5 minutes for their presentations, and second speakers, 3 minutes. The bell will ring once at the 1 minute and twice before the allocated or allotted time has expired. Following the presentations, we will move on to rebuttals. In that segment, 3 minutes will be given to each debater. On that note, it's time for our first break to hear from our sponsor, Caribbean Union Bank. Don't touch that dial. Don't go anywhere. The Intersecondary School Debate Series will continue.
Driven by Caribbean Union Bank, we are committed to creating the kinds of products and services that you want and need. We are not just a bank. We are your partner on your journey to financial freedom and success because we are driven by you. Driven by you, we're better every day. Driven by you, together a brighter way.
Welcome back to the Caribbean Union Bank Inter-Secondary School Debate Series. If you're just joining us, the moot for this encounter in the first round of the second part of the Inter-Secondary School Debate Series, we have the Seventh-day Adventist Secondary and the Antigua Grammar School, and they are debating the moot. The child justice system has done more harm than good to lower youth violence rates in Antigua and Barbuda. It is time for the debate to begin. We will now hear from Team Seventh-day Adventist. Please welcome Jordan Roberts.
Madam Moderator, honorable judges, worthy opponents, listening and viewing audience, good evening. I stand before you this evening to propose the moot. The child justice system has done more harm than good to lower youth violent rates in Antigua and Barbuda. Let us define key terms in this moot. The Child Justice Act 2015 of Antigua and Barbuda defines the child justice system as a criminal justice process for children under the age of 18 accused of committing offenses based on restorative justice. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines harm as damage done. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention defines youth violence as the intentional use of physical force or power to threaten or harm others by young people. The Cambridge Dictionary defines rape as the amount of time something happens. I will examine the problems encountered in the juvenile justice system in Antigua and Barbuda that have caused great damage to its efficacy in reducing youth violence, and my colleague will further explore how the lack of collaboration and focused intervention have caused further harm than good. Madam Moderator, exposure to the juvenile justice system does more harm than good to young people due to its present inconsistencies, its lack of adequate structure, and its limited resources. Madam Moderator, youth crime in Antigua and Barbuda has soared in recent years with a whopping 32 juveniles on probation. This was an increase of 20 from previous years. Not only has the crime rate increased, but these offenders are out of control. More harm than good is being done here. Madam Moderator, restorative justice should be restorative. However, in the implementation of the system, this is often not the case. Garoline Hector, Senior Probation Officer, notes that there's only one functioning rehabilitative program for juveniles who are diverted, and there are not enough trained personnel to run stalled programs. There are mainly 3 probation officers that are assigned to juveniles, so diversion options such as curfews are difficult to fully implement and supervise. In an article entitled The Effects of Involvement with the Juvenile Justice System, it was noted many youths in juvenile justice system do not receive adequate treatment by trained mental health professionals. One counsel notes that the encounter of the juvenile justice system can create a stigma for a juvenile as we are a small country. The stigma can result in a self-fulfilling prophecy. A repeat offender from Belmont shared that since everyone already thinks that he is no good, what is the point of trying to do what is right? I am a convict, he says, and will always be. Counseling supporting anger management, self-esteem, conflict resolution, and interpersonal skills are vital in helping youths inclined to violence learn better ways to deal with the stigma of being in the system. With only 3 counselors in our country, in our child justice system, the counseling support is often inadequate, and youth violence will continue to be a problem in our country. Once again, the system is failing us. In addition, as a part of the Child Justice Act, there should be secure holding facilities for youths who commit violent crimes. In an article in the Daily Observer from the 26th of February 2024 on the government's continued effort to reopen Boys Training School, it states that the Boys Training School has been closed for over 4 years, and it also noted that there are no secure facilities for girls who commit crime. This is a huge inconsistency, saying one thing but doing something else. The article also noted that there are currently boys at His Majesty's prison. The result is juvenile offenders being trained to be better criminals. Additionally, any progress that is made in the sessions with the probation officer is made ineffective by the dysfunctional environment to which they return. What impact does this have on our society? More youth violence. Furthermore, While the opponents, in Antigua and Barbuda, there's a perceived leniency with the child justice system. The penal options with the Child Justice Act are limited. Destructive actions without consequences do more harm than good. In an article in the Daily Observer entitled Lack of Stringent Penalties, police prosecutor Inspector Dane Bontiff notes that the increase in youth violence could be fueled by the way the Child Justice Act is structured, as juvenile offenders indicated that they were unfazed by the potential repercussions for their actions. The absence of firm penalties results in criminal-minded youths mocking the justice system, ignoring rules, and becoming even more ruthless. Without deterrent factors, juvenile offenders are likely to continue to negatively impact society. The limited options available in the child justice system is not the solution to reducing crimes in Antigua and Barbuda. Sadly, Commissioner of Police Anthony Rodney agrees that Antigua is losing the battle to reduce the youth crime rate. In his annual report on crime, he noted that 246 young persons were arrested, many of whom were juvenile offenders. Commissioner Rodney also shared that the effectiveness of the Child Justice Act may need to be addressed as they continue to see repeat offenders. If the Commissioner of Police acknowledges that juvenile recidivism is on the increase and the child justice system is not helping, who are we to disagree? I thank you.
That was Jordan Roberts, Team Seventh-day Adventist Secondary. She completed her presentation in a time of 4 minutes and 56 seconds. I didn't hear those rousy round of applause. Yes, yes. Thank you. It is now time to hear from Team Antigua Grammar School, their first speaker, Tajani Seaman. Please welcome him.
Madam Moderator, esteemed judges, fellow debaters. Today, we convene to dissect the moot that the child justice system has done more harm than good to lower the violence rates in Antigua and Barbuda. Before plunging into the heart of this debate, it is paramount to elucidate our key terms. According to the Oxford English Dictionary, harm denotes physical or mental damage or injury, while good signifies that which is morally right or beneficial. Lower, within the context of our discourse, pertains to the reduction of a specific phenomenon, namely violence. Moreover, violence encompasses any form of physical force intended to hurt, damage, or kill someone or something. And for the purpose of our moot, we will define the child justice system in Antigua and Barbuda as per the Child Justice Act. According to the Child Justice Act of 2015, the child justice system in Antigua and Barbuda is a criminal justice process for children accused of committing offenses based on restorative justice and which aims at protecting the rights of children. With these definitions as our guiding beacon, I shall endeavor to present a compelling argument in support of the efficacy of the child justice system in Antigua and Barbuda in addressing juvenile delinquency and curtailing violence rates. As a part of our approach to this debate, I will expound upon the following points: rehabilitation over punishment, preventative measures, restorative justice approach, and supportive legal framework, while my colleague will delve into education and vocational opportunities, community engagement, mental health support, and economic development. Madam Moderator, first and foremost, the child justice system in Antigua and Barbuda distinguishes itself by prioritizing rehabilitation over mere punitive measures. Unlike traditional punitive approaches, which often increase recidivism and perpetuate cycles of violence, Antigua and Barbuda's system focuses on addressing the root causes of juvenile delinquency. By providing comprehensive support and resources, it endeavors to facilitate the reintegration of young offenders into society as law-abiding citizens. Moreover, the proactive stance of the child justice system in Antigua and Barbuda is evident in its implementation of early intervention programs, community outreach initiatives, and educational campaigns. These endeavors target at-risk youth, offering them positive alternatives to delinquent behavior, and thereby preempting their involvement in criminal activities. The efficacy of such community-based interventions is underscored by research conducted by the Antigua and Barbuda Youth Council, which highlights their role in reducing the likelihood of youth engagement in violence. Things such as community centers are being implemented for youth to have positive interactions with their community. Additionally, statistics from the Antigua and Barbuda Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development reveal a commendable 35% reduction in school-based violence incidents following the implementation of early intervention programs and youth empowerment projects. Central to the child justice system's approach in Antigua and Barbuda is the adoption of a restorative justice paradigm. This approach emphasizes the importance of repairing the harm caused by juvenile offenders and fostering accountability, empathy, and reconciliation. Any act that uproots children from attending school is seen as unjust by the child justice system. A study conducted by the University of the West Indies attests to the effectiveness of restorative justice practices, such as victim-offender mediation, in mitigating aggression and hostility among youth, thereby contributing to a decline in violent behavior. Furthermore, the child justice system in Antigua and Barbuda operates with a supportive legal framework that prioritizes the rights and welfare of children in conflict with the law. Laws such as the Juvenile Justice Act ensure that juvenile offenders are treated with dignity, fairness, and respect throughout the legal process. By upholding these legal principles and adhering to international conventions such as the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, the system creates an environment conducive to rehabilitation and reintegration. Indeed, statistics from the Antigua and Barbuda Ministry of Legal Affairs indicate a commendable 25% decrease in instances of juvenile rights violations within the justice system following the implementation of the Juvenile Justice Act. In conclusion, esteemed judges and fellow debaters, the child justice system in Antigua and Barbuda serves as a beacon of hope, embodying the transformative power of rehabilitation, prevention, restorative justice, and supportive legal framework. Through its multifaceted approach to youth justice, bolstered by empirical evidence and local insights, it has not only mitigated harm, but also engendered positive outcomes for young individuals and their communities. Therefore, the child justice system is doing more good than harm in reducing violence. Madam Moderator, as I draw to the close of my presentation, let us acknowledge and continue to champion the invaluable contributions of the child justice system in Antigua and Barbuda. Thank you.
That was Tajani Seaman, Team Antigua Grammar School. Come on, keep the applause going. He completed his presentation in a time of 5 minutes and 27 seconds. We heard from both teams' first speakers. It's now time for the second speakers. We go over once again to the Seventh-day Adventist Secondary. Please welcome Amaya Moore.
All protocols already being established, Madam Moderator, I stand with my colleague with her assertion that the child justice system does more harm than good to reduce crime rates in Antigua and Barbuda. Collaboration and intervention are important components of an effective system. This broken system of justice for children has led to an increase in youth violence rates in Antigua and Barbuda. Therefore, we propose that intentional strategies and modifications to the current child justice system can contribute significantly to a reduction in youth violence rates. Collaboration is essential for crime reduction. According to Ms. Hector, Probation Officer, there are no formal collaborations between the ministries such as education and social transformation. And if the ministries do collaborate, it will be informally. Instead of investing in mostly reactive measures such as rehabilitation and incarceration, as is currently done in the child justice system, redirecting resources to early intervention and school support programs could have a more significant impact on reducing youth violence rates. Ebony Jones, in an article entitled Effectively Managing Crime on Antigua and Barbuda, posits that the Ministry of Education needs to be more involved at local levels due to the increased number of juvenile offenders. The system needs to stop sending juveniles back to schools with just behavioral contracts. Guns at school events, weapons in pockets, stabbings, and violent school fights are becoming the norm. Madam Moderator, While the purpose of the juvenile system is clearly well-intentioned, I submit that due to the apparent lack of a comprehensive policy in Antigua and Barbuda, that it has done more harm than crime, that it has done more harm than good to the persons that it is intended to serve. Secondly, enhancing skill training can be a powerful tool in preventing youth from further engaging in violent activities. In an article in the Observer newspaper for July 2021, Commissioner Rodney noted that 75% of crimes committed by youths are ones of acquisition, burglary, theft, etc. Despite the apparent rehabilitative focus on the child justice system, the recidivism rates in Antigua and Barbuda raises concerns. He noted that if the child justice system was working and actually rehabilitating and providing skills for young people, we would not have so many reoffenders. Ms. Hector, Senior Probation Officer, also noted that the child justice system needs space and money to provide skill training for young people involved in the juvenile system. She noted that skills such as sewing empower young persons to build a positive future. Practice must be linked to theory. It is all well and good to state that we have a child justice system, but a justice system that mostly relies on the threat of future prosecution is almost useless. This does absolutely nothing to reduce youth crime in Antigua and Barbuda. I thank you.
Thank you, Amaya. Team Seventh-day Adventist Secondary. And you know I like the applause. Come on, let Amaya feel that love. She completed her presentation in a time of 2 minutes and 52 seconds. We move on to Team Antigua Grammar School. He is Imari John. Please welcome him.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and esteemed colleagues, a warm greeting to each of you this evening. As we explore the intricate workings of Antigua and Barbuda's child justice system, I'm honored to delve into its transformative impact across 4 pivotal domains: educational and vocational opportunities, community engagement, mental health support, and economic development. At its core, the system is a testament to our collective commitment to not only holding juvenile offenders accountable for their actions, but also providing them with tangible pathways towards rehabilitation and societal reintegration. Research on the Education Forum Act conducted by the Antigua and Barbuda Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development has revealed the profound impact of educational and vocational programs within the juvenile justice framework. By equipping young individuals with academic qualifications and practical skills, we not only diminish recidivism rates, but also cultivate a cohort of empowered and employable citizens poised for success, with a notable 35% decrease in recidivism. Moreover, community engagement initiatives serves as linchpins in this process, bridging the divide between juvenile offenders and their broader social milieu. Through collaborative endeavors such as community service projects and mentorship programs, we foster a sense of belonging and accountability among our youth. The tangible impact of such engagement is evident in the significant reduction in youth involvement in violent incidents, with communities experiencing a 30% decrease over the past decade, as noted by the Antigua and Barbuda National Youth Council. A crucial aspect of rehabilitation lies in addressing the often overlooked realm of mental health. The provision of comprehensive mental health support within the juvenile justice system is not merely a moral imperative, but a strategic investment in societal well-being. The efficacy of counseling services and therapeutic interventions in mitigating aggressive behavior and promoting overall well-being cannot be overstated, with a notable 50% decrease shown in the behavioral programs in reducing aggressive behavior among juvenile offenders who be in behavioral programs, reducing aggressive behavior among juvenile offenders who receive regular counseling and therapeutic interventions, as highlighted by research from the Antigua and Barbuda Ministry of Health and Wellness. Finally, economic empowerment emerges as a potent tool in breaking the cycle of delinquency, despair, and by extension, violent behaviors. By forging partnerships with local businesses and equipping juvenile offenders with marketable skills, we offer tangible alternatives to a life of crime. The symbiotic relationship between economic stability and reduced criminal activity, elucidated by the Antigua and Barbuda Ministry of Economic Development, underscores the transformative potential of such initiatives, with a notable 35% decrease in involvement in criminal activities among youth who participated in economic empowerment programs. Antigua and Barbuda's child justice system offers hope for rehabilitation and societal reintegration, promoting a safer future through economic, mental health, community, and educational support. So I stand resolute in saying that the child justice system is doing more good than harm to lower the violence rates in Antigua and Barbuda. Thank you.
That was Imari John, Team Antigua Grammar School, and he completed his presentation in a time of 3 minutes and 24 seconds. We will take our second break to hear from our sponsor, Caribbean Union Bank. When we return, the rebuttals. Stay with us.
Driven by you, we're better every day. Driven by you, together a brighter way. Caribbean Union Bank, you matter to us. Caribbean Union Bank, our people, our purpose. Every day at Caribbean Union Bank, we are committed to creating the kinds of products and services that you want and need. We are not just a bank. We are your partner on your journey to financial freedom and success, because we are driven by you. Driven by you, we're better every day. Driven by you, together a brighter way.
Welcome back to the 2024 Caribbean Union Bank Inter-Secondary School Debate Series. Today, the Seventh-day Adventist Secondary and the Antigua Grammar School are meeting to debate the moot. The child justice system has done more harm than good to lower youth violence rates in Antigua and Barbuda. The rebuttal segment is about to begin. We begin with the opposing team, that is the Antigua Grammar School. Each presenter will be given 3 minutes in which to complete his or her presentation. The bell will ring once at the beginning of the final minute and twice when the maximum allotted time would have expired. Our teams are all set and ready. Let the rebuttals begin. Please welcome from the Antigua Grammar School, Imari John.
Once again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As I sat in my chair listening to my opponent's presentation, it was mind-busting trying to understand their presentation, for their points weren't clearly stated. But here's what I think I heard. First, the first speaker of the proposition stated that there's only one functioning rehabilitation center for youth in conflicts with the law. Although this may be the case, the youth in conflicts with the law are sent back to the school where they are counseled by the school counselors to prevent the reoccurrence of delinquent behavior. She also stated that there are only 3 counselors within the child justice system. As stated before, the youth in conflicts with the law are sent back to school to be counseled by the school counselors. She also stated that there are youth boys at His Majesty's prison. This is actually not true. As mentioned by Ms. S. Leandro, attorney at law within the Legal Aid Center, at the Legal Aid Center, all juvenile offenders are sent home to be sent home under police supervision. As I close, I have 2 questions for my opponents. Is it harmful for a child's punishment to be different from that of an adult? And is it harmful for a child to be treated differently from an adult? Thank you.
Thank you, Imari, Team Antigua Grammar School. We now move on to the proposition, the Seventh-day Adventist, the secondary. But before we do that, please note that Imari John completed his rebuttal in a time of 1 minute and 31 seconds. Yes, feel free to clap. We now move on to the Seventh-day Adventist Secondary School, and rebutting for that team, we have Amaya Moore. Welcome her.
All protocols already being established. Madam Moderator, my opponents have tried their very best to make it appear as if the child justice system is effective in Antigua and Barbuda. However, that is all they managed to do. Try. For we all know the child justice system in Antigua and Barbuda is ineffective. Firstly, my opponents have stated the child justice system is restorative. While we agree the child justice system has good intentions, how do we know our juvenile do? If a simple apology can get you out of a minor crime, wouldn't you do it? Every action has a reaction. If juveniles choose to do something wrong, they must be willing to face the consequences that they are given. Secondly, my opponents have noted that the child justice system prioritizes rehabilitation. What rehabilitation programs can you mention? There's only one program running. This is because Antigua and Barbuda does not have enough resources for rehabilitation. This leads to an increase in inconsistency, hence the reason we have so many reoffenders and why our youth violence rates are rising. Thirdly, my opponents have stated that the child justice system prioritizes the right of a child. But what about the right of the victims and society? Holding children accountable for their actions does not dismiss the right of a child. Putting consequences in place helps children to respect the law while being held accountable for their actions. Lastly, my opponents have stated there are provisions for students with mental health, but one of the main disadvantages in the child justice system in Antigua and Barbuda is the lack of manpower and personnel. Not many counselors are there to accommodate all the children. There are mainly 3 probation officers. How would they all be able to supervise all the children while still dealing with reoffenders? And we conclude that the child justice system in Antigua needs more resources, structure within a comprehensive policy for it to be effective. Therefore, we confidently posit that the only reasonable conclusion is that the child justice system does more harm than good to lower youth violence rates in Antigua and Barbuda. I thank you.
That was Amaya Moore, team Seventh-day Adventist Secondary. A round of applause for her. She completed her presentation in a time of 2 minutes and 22 seconds. This brings us to the end of the first encounter in the second round of the 2024 Caribbean Union Bank Intersecondary School Debate Series. We're going to take a short break to hear from our sponsor. When we return, the judges' decision. Stay with us. You don't want to miss that.
Driven by you, we're better every day. Driven by you, together a brighter way. Caribbean Union Bank, you matter to us. Caribbean Union Bank, our people, our purpose. Every day at Caribbean Union Bank, we are committed to creating the kinds of products and services that you want and need. We are not just a bank. We are your partner on your journey to financial freedom and success because we are driven by you. Driven by you, we're better every day. Driven by you, together a brighter way.
Thank you for staying with us. The Seventh-day Adventist Secondary and the Antigua Grammar School met in this encounter. The judges have deliberated and tallied their scores to present their findings and announce the winning team. Please welcome Judge Sharon Herbert.
Good evening to our viewing and listening audiences. It gives me great pleasure to present the results today on behalf of the judges. And I must say, this encounter the students came out with a bang for round two. It was very evident. There was a lot of energy, enthusiasm, and it was very interesting, but it was also it wasn't a lukewarm encounter. So we were kept on our feet, and our pens were glued, and we were listening very keenly. So I'm very impressed, or I should say we were very impressed with both teams tonight. So as I said, great efforts. Please give them a round of applause. Great efforts. We saw that both teams did a lot of research, and we like the fact that they use a lot of local research. And it was very evident tonight. Great use of vocabulary. Their grammar was on point. And we, again, say a round of applause to both teams. So just as I'm mentioning the positives, there are still some negatives that we have to highlight, especially because the winner of this encounter is going on to the semifinals. Am I correct? Yes. Okay. As a word of caution, we want to say, yes, sometimes when you're very enthusiastic about a topic, you try to pack a lot of points. And we saw that tonight. And we want to caution the teams that, yes, you feel so passionate about a topic that you want to pack 3-4 points in 2 minutes or 6 points in 5 minutes. No, what we're saying, try to, when you're practicing, try to say, okay, should I use these 3 and I can leave the 4th one out? Because we're looking for, yes, quality in the presentations. We're looking for quality points over quantity. And as I said, you may have 5 strong points that you want to deliver, but you may only have 5 minutes or 3. So what we're saying, just be, as a word of caution, try to look at the quality of your points and the time frame that's given. And we want to ask, and I'm going to put it in here, a little caveat here, trainers, because we noticed that a lot of the students, when they're here at the podium and the first bell rings, sometimes they lose their way, they get flustered. So what we're asking for those who are listening, for the teams that are coming in the next encounters, and even the trainers here tonight, try to practice when they're practicing at school, use the bell so they get accustomed, so they're not distracted with the first bell, because we don't want you to start rushing and losing your way after the first bell sounds, because that's only just to caution you that you have 1 minute left. Okay, so debaters, please take note. Another point that we still would love to see some improvement is the reading. We found both teams and all speakers, it was evident that they were a little bit reliant on their scripts, even though I like the cue card type of format, because when you have the big sheets, it distracts a lot. However, we realized that, yes, they had so many points that they want to, go punching in, but then you tend to be a little bit reliant on your scripts. So even though, yes, you may glance at the audience, you glance at the moderator and the judges table, we want you to be a little bit more familiar with your scripts, which only means practicing as much as you can before you come to the debate encounters. And my final point here, we noticed that in your local, you're referencing instances where you may cite an article from a newspaper, but the judges were waiting to hear keenly, most times you need to actually give the source, the person who wrote the article, because that adds to its credibility, okay? So we want to caution students, be careful when you're quoting an article, make sure you cite the source of the article, also. And not just the newspaper, but if it was a lawyer, a expert in the field, and so forth. So, for the happy news and the most exciting part that I know everybody's waiting to hear, the results. And I'm going to begin with the better debater for the proposition, and that is Miss Amaya Moore. And then we have the better debater for the opposition, Tijani Seaman. And the best overall debater, Tijani Seaman. And with an average score of 62, the Seventh-day Adventists was awarded an average score of 62, and with an average score of 71, the Antigua Grammar School, declaring the Antigua Grammar School tonight's winners. Thank you.
Congratulations to the Antigua Grammar School. I heard the boys over here on my left really clapping. And so let's do that again. Give it up for our winners, the Antigua Grammar School. And I would just like to say congratulations to both teams for working hard, showing up here today, and giving us a stellar performance, a stellar presentation. So thank you so very much for doing your utmost best. And thank you to the trainers, teachers, principals, especially to the trainers and teachers who are involved in debate. We would like to say a special thank you to you, because we know that you remain after school for long hours and you practice with the students, you do research with them, you assist them as much as possible, and without you, debate would not be possible. So thank you so much to all our teachers and trainers who are involved in the 2024 Intersecondary School Debate Series. That item brings us to the end, but before I say my goodbyes, the students will come up and give their closing remarks. So we'll start with the Seventh-day Adventist Secondary. Please welcome Jordan Roberts.
Good evening once again. It has been a privilege to take part in the Caribbean Union Bank debate series. We have learned a lot about the child justice system. We would like to thank the probation officers, lawyers, and counselors who spoke with us, our teachers who helped us prepare for this debate, and our parents for their love and support. We also would like to thank our fellow debate club members. Thank you, Grammar School, for putting up such a valiant fight. Madam Moderator, honorable judges, thank you for your kind remarks. Finally, we would like to thank God for giving us the strength to take us through this debate. It has been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Jordan, Team Seventh-day Adventist Secondary. Now we move on to the winning team, the Antigua Grammar School. Welcome, Tijani Seaman.
Good evening once again. Firstly, we'd like to thank God, because without him, this wouldn't be possible. I'd also like to thank our teammates and our teachers for the effort they put in to help us reach this point. We also extend our thank yous to everyone here that made this event possible. As I close, I'd like to leave you with two of my favorite Bible verses. Joshua 1:9. This is my commandment. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. And Philippians 4:13. We can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. Thank you to my worthy opponents. Thank you for the amazing battle. Semper Wirens, my friends. Semper Wirens.
Thank you to Johnny Seaman, Team Antigua Grammar School. That item brings us to the end of our first encounter in round 2. So the Antigua Grammar School now moves on to the semi-finals. Congratulations once more to both of our teams. And thank you to our studio audience and television audiences for joining us this evening for the Caribbean Union Bank Intersecondary School Debate Series. Be sure to join us next week for a brand new encounter when the Clear Hall Secondary School takes on the Antigua Girls High School. Until then, I'm your moderator, Brisella Marsh Sutton. Stay positive. Bye-bye.